I'm starting a 30 to 31 day challenge because I'm trying to get back snatched. And this is something that I have done in the past and it have worked. And all I'm gonna do is use activities that I would normally do in the house to help me accomplish this goal. It will be either in the house, it may sometimes be outside of the house. So I have several goals that I am working on during this 30-day challenge, and some of these challenges is gonna go further. But for today, we're gonna start in the kitchen. We're gonna organize things here. For some of you, you may say, this is great. But for me, I look at it, it still needs some organization. There's still some work to do. And I will show you, because many of us have hidden secrets. So I'm gonna start with these dishes here. You're gonna do the dishes. So we got to get our cleaners together. So when you get your cleaner together, and because it's COVID-19, it's just on the rise and everybody is trying to make sure they stay safe and they sanitize, what I'm doing, I am gonna make my my dishwater to wash dishes by hand. I'm not gonna put them in the dishwasher. I'm gonna wash them by hand. So we prep. The dishes are prepped. They may look like they are already clean and everything, and I just need to put them up, but they're not. They're just rinse out. We like to rinse dishes out around here. We don't let everybody in the kitchen because everybody don't clean the way that we clean. So we like doing it ourselves. But as I mentioned, I put a cap of bleach in here. And the reason I've been doing bleach is way before COVID-19. But back when we had the little era, when they didn't know how HIV, AIDS, they didn't know much about that. They didn't know how that was transferring from one person to the next. I just started adding a little bit more bleach in my water to make sure everything is disinfected. And then you know it makes people uncomfortable. If they had it, many of them won't tell you, they won't share that with you, because back then, that's when people was like, ooh, you know, I'm scared to be around that person. So they would just kind of be closed mouth about it until they got to a point where it just came up and they just had to say something. But with that being said, for all the people that don't tell you what's going on with them health-wise, some things could be contagious and you don't know, and they are eating out of your plates and things like this, then just add some, you know, a cap of bleach in your dishwater and clean your dishes that way and give them a good old deep cleaning. Now, I don't put them in the, I hand wash. I always have, I always will, because I like to make sure my dishes are clean. One thing about the dishwasher, it takes up space. I could actually use that space for like me some old pots or something. But with that being said, if I needed to in cooking or entertaining, and we're gonna be kind of using dishes throughout that process, then I can just wash my dishes. Then I can rinse them and I can set them in there because I know we're going to use it again. And just to utilize, to get some purpose out of that dishwasher being here, then I would just use that like so. So you can see that this water is not murky. It's not dirty like most people water might be with whatever coming from the food. Is not, you don't see all the food in the sink and all that good stuff. That's what you want your water to look like when you washing your dishes. You don't want it to have oil in it. You don't want it to have be colored from coffee, you know, and all of that, because are you really getting your dishes clean? You want them clean, because you eat out of this goes in your mouth. So we're gonna finish this up and then we'll be back. And we are at the end of the kitchen, and this is what the water looked like at the end. You don't see all no coffee and Coke and whatever else people have been drinking poured into that water. It's still decent. Now what I'm doing, I still have, remember, I put a cap of Clorox in the water to wash the dishes with. So what I'm doing is making sure I clean the cabinet off, and it's also going to disinfect the cabinet. And I like to wipe everything off until it's time for its cleaning. And you're going to pull everything apart and you want to wipe it down. And it's also a good idea when it's time to clean this. Some of these, remember whatever they told you when you got these items, but you want to run a cycle of water through it. And I would put a little bit of bleach in mine because I like to keep things clean and sanitized. And I don't like anything getting all dirty up in here, you know, for you coffee drinkers and all that stuff. You want this stuff to be clean. I have seen some disgusting looking coffee pots and stuff. And if it was me, I wouldn't be drinking that because that pot be nasty. So you want to make sure you wipe your things down, open it up, see what you need to do. If you got to run a cycle with just some water, you want to do that. And I would suggest, like I said, you want to put a little bit of bleach. You don't have to go crazy with it on it to do that. Now at the beginning, you want to make sure you have hot water as hot as you can stand it. Now with me being a stylist, I can stand my water pretty hot. It'll be smoking. And then you may come behind me and stick your hand in it and can't handle that. Don't do yours like that. Make it where you can handle it. But I like, and I would suggest, if you can, you know, tolerate it for a little bit, when it comes to your water that you rinse with, you want it to be real hot, because if it's, the hotter it is, the better it is, and it's going to help dry your dishes, especially if you wash them by hand. It's going to help that dry out faster because of that heat, and you have less wiping to do. And your dry towel, see, I pulled out two. One I set the thing on, and then this one here. And it's not drenched because when I, you know, the water was so hot that once I set it down on that towel, it was pretty much evaporating from the heat of the dish. So I do this, and I wipe all of these cabinets down, and I like to wipe everything down. And I use my, I keep my water so that I can wipe everything. And when I say everything, you want to wipe everything, because you know your home is your investment. You don't invest in this house, you paying all this money, and you giving all this interest on this. You want to make sure your stuff lasts. You don't want to have to be trying to replace anything soon. And that's part of my reason why I don't like kids in the kitchen when they too young, messing around, saying they're helping, and they trying to help, but then they end up breaking something, and you got to go replace this stuff. So it's not about just replacing it. Now you have to get somebody to come in and then do the manual label, so you got to pay for that. So that gets expensive. But anyway, you want to keep that clean. So the few things that we have left here on this counter, like these apples, these will go in the refrigerator. We'll keep them on cold. I like cold apples. That's real good. But you're going to put them in the refrigerator. And what we normally do here, when we get our stuff from the grocery store, it's going to be wiped down. Not with no chemicals necessarily, but it'll be wiped down. And these have already been wiped down. That's why they're sitting here. And we're going to put them in the refrigerator. Everything is dry. I put all my things back up for the next time I need to wash dishes, clean the kitchen. You make sure you do your floors, get your baseboards and all that. And this is going to help because you see that bending I'm doing? And then when I'm down here and I'm doing all this, my arm is moving. I'm in a little squat position. That's workout. So you clean it and you working out at the same time. So you have some lifting, you have some reaching that you're doing, and that reaching, you don't be paying attention to that reaching that you're doing, but it actually is, it's a motion in a workout. Just think about the workouts that you be doing. Then you kind of turn, you got to stretch right here sometimes because you reach back, you may do something, you know, not even thinking about it. So we don't even be thinking about those things when we are cleaning up. And it's a workout because you think about how much time it take you to clean your kitchen. And if you detail, you're going to be in that kitchen 30 minutes to an hour. If you're good in detail, you're mopping and you're doing everything that you need to do. or you're doing trash and you wiping everything down and you taking that to the garage, putting it in the bigger trash can. So we did everything, and I like to go through here on where my ice and water dispenser is on here, and I like to clean that, sanitize that a little bit, wipe that a little bit off like this, because you know so many of us is touching it. So I'll do that part, that. And once this finishes drying, I'll come back with a paper towel and wipe that off and really clean it off and get it back shining. Now, when we happen to forget some things, and because this is something, we was doing this before COVID-19, here's one of these other things we did. Because when you go to the store and you're buying stuff, they're putting it on the shelf and everything. They don't necessarily clean those shelves off and everything. And you have other people, germs and stuff on this, so we wipe them down before we put them in our cabinets. That's what we do. And then as we use this, then when I get ready to open this up, then I'm gonna wipe my can down. But this was just the outside of this, and then I'm gonna clean this up, and as you see, I still got my little Lysol wipe, and I'm opening this door, and I'm just gonna put them in here out the way until we're ready for that. And then of course, for sanitized purpose. Anyway, we're gonna be ready to clean that part out. And the other thing that people forget about is your pets. Anybody with pets, you know, pets go outside. We have to walk them, and they use the restroom and stuff outside. They're tracking all them germs. You just clean your house out. You take them outside. They're gonna track those germs back in here if you're not wiping their paws or stuff. I'm not a pet owner. I don't have a pet, but if I did, the pet probably get mad at me because I'll be wiping their paws out before they can come back in the house. I would have one of them uppity pets, you know, because they'll be scared to come in the house. They'll be doing this so I can wipe them out before they come back in. But all of that, you have to think about, it's a bunch of germs out there. We're walking on this ground, and people are spitting out there. Their pets are using the restroom and stuff out there, and the rest of these pets that's running around here using the restroom, and they come in your house. And then if you cat lovers, you know, cats all over everything. So they done germs is just everywhere. So you're constantly cleaning up behind a cat, I would think. I don't know. But with that in mind, you think about that. I usually, when people come to the house, I ask them to take their shoes out at the door. I supply them either with some house shoes, footies, flip-flops, something, because I don't want those germs on the bottom of the soles of their shoes traveling through the house. It's not being mean. It's just that kind of trying to limit the germs in the house. And there it is. So that lets you know. And I was doing all this bending here, putting stuff in here, and this works out this part in the calf. You can feel all this. So when you get through and you're wondering what those, remember the old days, maybe 1920s, you look at them people and they all snatched and everything, because they used to be on the floor, wiping the floor and all that stuff. And that's how they got them biceps and stuff. So anyway, we're going to see what happens. That's how all I used to have to do, just to lose a few pounds and get back snatched.